What up, everybody? Just stopped at Harbor Freight and picked up a new toy. 36-inch metal brake. I just popped the straps on it and I'm about to open it up and we're going to put it together. Alright, so let's break it open. Thing's heavy. It's nice looking, I'll tell you that. It's only like 240 bucks. But, you know, the quality seems there. So we'll see. Alright, so back we got the nuts and bolts, and these are probably the feet that go on the ground. The stands, the brake itself is one piece, and then the instructions. Now for something easy like this, instructions are probably toilet paper. So we're just going to put this thing together. Alright, so now putting the feet together, when I opened up the package, all the nuts, bolts, and washers, they're all the same size. So this couldn't be any easier, except for this one. This one's a little bit bigger than the others. Not sure what it's for, but we'll find out. So, 16 millimeter wrench, 16 millimeter socket. It's a little hard to... Now you see this side, the holes are centered. This side, they're staggered. This goes on the top, and this obviously goes in the bottom. It matches. So, put them together. Simple as that. All right, now I got the stands lined up, both sides. The holes oriented in the right direction. So I'm just going to pick this thing up and place it on there. Now this thing it's pretty heavy. I wouldn't recommend you do this by yourself, but I'm going to do this by myself. Alright, so far so good. I got all my bolts. So watch, there's those two back there. I just lined up the holes, dropped the bolts in, and we're good to go. The only complaint I have with this is they don't give you quote enough washers. Probably the way they want that it's meant to work, which I suppose is fine. Drop the bolt in. You have no washer here, and you have a washer down at the bottom by the nut. I guess that's okay, but you know what? I've always been one to... I like to have a washer on both ends. It's just better that way. So I have a bin of just nuts, washers, and bolts. So I just grabbed some of those. Not saying you have to do that, but it's just better to have it that way. So I'm going to tighten all these down. Helps to have the right socket. A little bit, okay. I think that's all there is to it. There's that one large bolt I was mentioning, and there's some extras here. 2 of each extra. I guess that's for drop Cs, in case you lose one of these. And this big one, there's one on each side there and there. So, and it comes with a washer for it. So I guess that's what that's for, just for dropsies. And the only thing you really have to do from here is there's this hole right here on each side. You keep that lubricated, you spray some oil down there. It's got little, looks like little bronze bushings on each side, which is nice. Those are, you can lubricate those, and they're just regular flange bearings, bronze flange bearings. So you can replace these in the future if they break or get lost or worn out, whatever. And lever here is adjustable. Let's see. That's pretty tight. I guess I'll try sticking something in there and bending it. Okay, so now to use one of these, I got my steel in here. Now this is mild steel and it's 12 gauge. It's a little. This is all I have. This is a little bit more than what this is ready to bend, but it's such a short piece, it might work. So now the way you set this up, if you have a piece like this, just a small piece, and it's not, you know, full capacity, you don't want to have it just to one side or the other, because it's not going to clamp down right. You want to put it in the center. I mean, like maybe if it's like this wide, then you can center it, but if it's narrow like this, you just want to put it right in the center. So we got it centered. Now normally if you want to get a perfectly straight line, a perfectly straight bend in a certain spot, you would measure it and you would scribe a line across here so you can see it. But we're just going to, this is just a test run here. So I'm happy with that. Now you're going to take both of these, you're going to put them over. You want it, it's going to go like this. You want to push it all the way over, and it should stay like that. If it doesn't, then that means on each side you have to tighten each of these rods up until it stays on its own like that. So now let's see. This may work, it may not work. Okay, now that's too much. I gotta see if I have a piece of sheet metal, but it's kind of good. You guys saw that, so that's too much for it. I probably could modify it to make it bend something thicker, which I might do in the future, but if you're just gonna use it in its form, this is too thick. So I'm gonna see if I can find something more appropriate for this. Alright, so what I have here is an old license plate. So it's made of aluminum. Aluminum is easier to bend, it's softer than steel, and sheet metal, so this should work no problem. So lock down properly. So say you're looking for a specific angle. This is just a 90-degree angle. You want to bend it just a little bit past, depending on the thickness of the metal, a little bit past what you want, because when you let go of it, it's going to slouch back a little bit. And there you go. Now if you bend it a little bit too far, if the metal's not too thick, you can kind of open it up a little bit. Or if you didn't go far enough, you just stick it back in. You line it back up. And this thing will go a little bit past 90. Like so. You see right there, that's a nice crisp, tight bend. The reason why it's harder on thicker metal to get that bend is because of how much thicker it is. Trying to get a tight, it's gonna want to do it more round. This has a pointed edge on it. If it had a bit of a rounded, peened over edge, it would bend thicker stuff easier. But that's why I guess the only good thing in the instructions is what it's rated for. So just go by what it's rated for. But so far, I like this. It'll definitely be in future videos and future projects of mine. So, oh, and one more thing I gotta mention. These holes here on the feet, that's just if you decide to anchor it to the floor, which I recommend you do. Alright, so yeah, that's it. Take care.